I would describe my drag, if I would even call it drag, is visually non-binary, in that there's a feminine face, but then masculine features such as a hairy chest or hairy legs. So kind of blending things that don't go together. Drag is inherently socially engaged. You can't have a society without drag, and you can't have drag without society, because drag is a rejection of society. It's a rejection of cultural norm and stereotype and construct. But if no one's actually seen you rebel and reject the society you're mocking, did it even happen in the first place? If a drag queen falls over in a forest and there's no one around to hear it, did it still make a noise? I kind of theorise that current contemporary drag performers who are kind of maybe new wave Renaissance drag, their drag persona is an extension of who they are as a queer artist. Which I definitely identify with, because whenever I put on my costumes and perform, I never think I'm performing as someone else. I think I'm just performing as me, but dressed up. Because if you're not dressed up, no one knows that you need to be looked at. But when you're dressed up, everyone knows that they have to look at you, so that's how you get the attention, really.
I started doing drag makeup in the summer of 2016, mainly because I was bored. And then when I started A-levels, other people liked it, and I do live streams and talk to people. A lot of what I do is revolved around hyperfemininity. I'm questioning that. Why I like learning about it so much is sort of figuring out my own gender identity, coming to terms with being non-binary. It is once starting university and learning more about Norwich's queer scene that I thought that it's something that I could continue doing.
If it had to be categorised, it's more like club kid, sort of just performer. I suppose it's hard to sort of fit it into a box or a binary or whatever when you don't quite fit into one. As soon as you say, oh, I do drag, people assume you do woman illusion. Which
to an extent, sometimes. It's not based on the idea of looking feminine.
I feel like I compare my drag a lot to people that are quite girly because I see them doing really well, and it almost feels like this drag isn't the right drag, to the extent of having been told before that this isn't drag. I view our drag as just as good as anyone else's.
It's all equally as valid.
The House of Days is a non-exclusive drag collective. A lot of drag places around the minute have very funny definitions about what a drag is. And we're just here to remind everyone that that's not for them to decide, it's for the performers to decide. The Norwich queer scene now engages with a queer fantasy more so than it does female impersonation. And the audiences who come to our shows have kind of welcomed it, they enjoy it, they think it's really cool.
I'd say it's quite close-knit. Like, we all know each other, we're all friends with each other, and we all get influenced by each other slightly, I'd say.
It's diverse as well, though, and that's what I find quite interesting. That everyone is accepting, but everyone does different things.
The drag you go out in is basically a big symbol to all the other queerdos around that are like, oh, you're one of us, you're one of the queer scene. And it just helps people gravitate together, and there's just a great sense of community among us, I think.
We love a quick face.
First drag in the gallery was in November 2018. I kind of created this exhibition that would document the Norwich queer scene. As well as having art on the walls, it would have a live show, and that live show would feature the performers who were on the walls as artwork.
Mine's partly a character, but partly sort of like an inward projection. I based him a year younger than me. Things that I had previously gone through, they were then projected a year later into drag. It's the first song when I started sort of doing drag that I was like, I'm gonna do this one day, and it means a lot to me.
Inside there is still a person who thinks and feels and is still human, and people probably forget that when they see people dressed up.
You've got to be aware going into it as a non-binary AFAB person, you're almost more likely to get on the list to be a showcase of diversity. Automatically people say, oh, you're a bio queen. I mean, I'm not trying to make a message, I'm dressed up in an aesthetic way. Explaining that and navigating that is quite difficult. But I find it nice because when I dress up femininely, it makes me feel like I am directly playing with gender and I'm dressing up as a gender, and it sort of reassures me in where I am as well.
I think Norwich has a really progressive and welcoming drag community. But I don't know if the rest of England knows that. But now, I think Liv's just trying to have fun and kind of celebrate who they already are rather than trying to emulate other people. Just being a practicing queer artist, I guess.
I hope that in the wider scale of things, it will pay off eventually. People will realise that we have built ourselves from the ground up. In the future, I would hope that we are elevated from where we currently are, because it's what we deserve.
To be part of something like this, we're in control of the current and the near future. I might not want to be a famous drag performer, but I want to work with other people.
I would like people to see me as I see others. I want to be able to look at myself and be like, that was good, I'm going to do that again, with no changes. I feel like I am going towards that.
Instead of thinking of it in a family setting, we're all basically children.
Yeah.
And we're running
we're
around.
all just
Exactly.
running around, looking stupid, doing stupid
Because
things.
we can. Sort of.
And because it's our scene, like, there's no one telling us what to do. We're all on this level. There's no one above us being like, you can't do that, because I said you can't do that.
It's exactly what we want to do, and it's our own special thing. And not many people in this world get that experience.